that you mentioned that, because it's such an important point, because we're here in Miami where everyone's making money but nobody's saving money, and you know things, and you hear things about different people and things that they're doing, and nobody's learning how to save their money. Everybody gets rich really quick.
I think it's reverse narratives. I think you need to play reverse narratives. If people did what most people don't do, they're most likely going to have different results, aka be successful. So if you see that people are spending money, then you need to ask, what are they spending money on? So the problem isn't spending. The problem is, what are you spending it on? And does it have a return? Not just does it have a return, does it have a return towards my predetermined goals? You have to allocate this fuel and this energy. That all money is energy that you input towards different things. That's why I have no emotional attachment towards my net worth. Why? Because it's just stored up energy that I'm going to deploy to empower people, to empower communities, to fulfill my dreams, to take care of my family. It's just energy fuel. It's just a tank. You don't look at a tank full of gas and somebody that has a little bit of gas and it's like, psh, like you're a peasant, you're a piece of shit because your tank's not full. No, how can I help you? And this way, that you operate in a different dynamic. So instead of shitting on people, hey, you don't have money in your reports, understanding, hey, money doesn't really mean anything. It's just one factor, one spectrum of this entire equation. It's a very interesting conversation. I think the premise of our talk with liberty is also going to be important to the financial independence of an individual, but I genuinely believe it starts in the brain and it starts in the mind, because you have to become educated, and nobody's going to do it for you. And people that think that they go to the school system and find true education, you don't. You find indoctrination, and people have assumed this idea that the information they've received is education, and it's truly not. So your job is to go find truth. I often talk about the scientific method as the approach to finding truth. The scientific method is tested and proven, observation, testing, hypothesis, and you go through an entire cycle till you arrive to a conclusion. In the same way, you can have a scientific method towards your approach in life. You can have a scientific method where you observe something and ask yourself, is this true or is it false? But people are like, well, science. Well, what is science? Define science. What is science? Science, if you break it down to its most basic common denominator, basic English, 15th century, it basically means to split, right? To split. And at its essence, it's splitting what? Truth from falsehood. Science is the process of finding truth. So when you have this, hey, do you believe in the science? You can't believe science. You know science, because science is the understanding of truth between falsehood and truth. Leonardo da Vinci famously said, study the science of art and study the art of science. Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. So if everything connects to everything else, how I operate in my business, how I have my mindset, how I move to a different country, how I take risks, how I become successful, how I lose money, how I go through bad partnerships, how I do good partnerships, how I treat my relationships, how I interact with my employees, all of that is a cumulative representation of who I am. The money is just an aspect. So when you peel back the curtains of Luke Belmar, I'm just an individual here trying to empower others. I'm not special. I won't be remembered when it's all said and done, and I'm totally okay with that. Like, it's not a big deal.
You might be.
But if I'm not, it's totally fine. And in that process, as long as we can have a great existence and you leave better today than you were when we first interacted, I think it's a worthy ideal to live by. So that's kind of a little bit about me.